And welcome back to the hottest marriage show in the world. It's I, John D. and Kanika, a.k.a. And Too Much Podcast. How you doing this morning?
I'm resting well today.
You're resting well? Did you have a busy weekend?
Yeah. I think it was like the unexpected. Like every weekend I plan for it to be like a chill weekend where there's no like real requirements of anything I have to do. But the needs of a family member kind of spilled into our week and then into our weekend. And that's just a lot for me. Peopling is difficult for me. So today I'm really going to be chill.
Do you ever consider how you got to that? Because the reason why I'm asking is because the topic I wanted to talk about is what type of person would you have been if we were the parents? And the person that you are when you said sometimes you don't want to start peopling or whatnot. How did you get to that point? What caused you to get there, like through your journey? Or have you always? Do you always? I don't recall you being like that as a kid.
Like not wanting to be around people?
Yeah, because when you sometimes I'm cutting you off because I don't want you to say something and not recall, but you always say that you were an outgoing little kid and people knew you, but along the lines of your journey, something happened where you was like, I don't like that person. I'm going to just stay to myself in my own personal friend group.
Well, first, I was super friendly. And I was very talkative. And I probably said this before. My mom, one day my mom told me that I had no tact. Like I would just say whatever was going to come out of my mouth, whatever was in my brain. And she said, you need to think before you speak or don't speak at all. Essentially, that's basically what she said. And so I spent a couple of years not really... Like, for fear of being offensive to somebody, I only stuck to the people who already knew me and accepted, like, my mouth. And so I got comfortable with that.
So when you say when your mother was trying to change this behavior and you don't have any tact, you weren't lying or anything, were you?
When I was saying what I was saying?
Yeah.
No, but I definitely didn't. It didn't dawn on me that people's feelings would be hurt by how I said something.
So... the stuff that you were saying was the truth. It just wasn't delivered in a way where people could receive the message.
Yeah. I mean, but you have to remember I'm a kid. So my perception of what was true or what I was seeing and what I was saying, it just...
You don't think kids say the truth?
I do, but I feel like some of the stuff I said probably weren't necessary. Like maybe I spoke on somebody's appearance or... I brought to attention something someone said that maybe they wished would have disappeared, and I harped on it because I thought it was entertaining or whatever. I wasn't mindful of other people and my impact on other people. I was just saying whatever came to mind. And, when you're little, sometimes it could be funny. People would be like, you just never know what she's going to say until it's something that I don't remember hurting anybody. But I remember at one point, she just kind of sat me down and was like, look, that mouth.
So, do you think, well, I guess, so your mother's opinion curved your outgoingness as far as when it came to...
Yeah, I don't think she meant to...
Oh, no, I'm sure she didn't.
It was, continue to make friends and do your own thing. However, think about what you say. And because I kind of felt like I didn't know exactly what I was saying that was wrong, I just stopped kind of talking to a lot of people. And if you didn't already understand me and accept me and it seemed like I didn't hurt you, then I didn't really mess with you. But it's like weird that I was partnered with my childhood best friend because like nothing fazed her about me at all. But also it was almost like she paired me with people. Like she put people in our friend group that were able to take me. And I don't think it was on purpose, but I just think it was like really like loose people who didn't really, they weren't easily hurt. They had maybe similar, like we all have similar senses of humor where we like to pick at people a little bit. So I was comfortable. And once I got that group, I didn't need nothing else. I really didn't.
So let me see. Do you think that before you had that that information your mother gave you, that you were considered a happy kid? Like from appearance wise, like looking out, somebody looking at you?
I don't know. I had other things going on too.
No, I didn't say that. I'm saying from somebody, nobody knows what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
So by when you say other things are going on and you appeared to be happy to others, when that was that outlet, I would look at it as an outlet. So when that was removed, do you think that you ever developed tact where you didn't think about what you were going to say anymore? Or did you were always conscious of like what this is going to sound like?
Yeah, I was always conscious of, I don't know, after a while I feel like some of the things I say, I'm not trying to find the right words. I just have them. Now I feel like I just have them. For a while it was like, okay, you know how they be like, measure twice and then cut once.
Mm-hmm.
I would think twice and then I would sit, like I have to make sure that whatever I'm gonna say, no one's gonna be hurt.
So when did you get that?
Probably, I don't know, in my adulthood somewhere.
Don't you think that's a great characteristic for a responsible adult?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm very, I'm glad that I'm like that because I don't want to hurt anybody. Like, one of my biggest things, is intention versus impact. And I know that I don't intend to hurt people, but I have to weigh what I'm saying, the situation, what's the tone of the room, who else is listening. I weigh all of those things around me before I say certain things, because you could say something and then it will spark someone else and it's like a wildfire. And so I have to be mindful of those things. But I like being able to think it through 2 or 3 times before I really formulate something, because when somebody walks away from me, I want them to feel helped, not hurt. And even in like intervening with other people who are hurting one another, to be able to neutralize those situations is, I don't like a lot of rah-rah, and I like it to be very peaceful around me. Nobody wants to be like caught in a wildfire all day and all night. That may be the chaos you're used to, but people don't really want it. So if I can help calm it down, I would like to do that.
It's interesting listening, because I don't think that I really cared about what I said until maybe 39 or 40. Like, I think that growing up, people always said that I said what was on my mind, but nobody said to not say it. So I'm looking at, like, I never was corrected. Like, I remember some of the things that I used to say when we first got together and throughout until Abu Dhabi. Like, people used to just look at me like, I can't believe you just said that. Like, it's not the truth, or it's not what I'm thinking. So in my head, I thought it was okay. And I had no idea that just my thoughts could hurt other people. And then when I started thinking, like literally thinking about what I was saying, I started to, like, I guess, mature. But I still look back, the things that I said, just like you said, like I didn't want to hurt anybody. It was always like, hopefully it could make people smile or laugh. It was never to hurt anybody unless I was already hurt. And that's, everybody knows that routine. But now I'm so intentional, it bothers me that I can still hurt people. Like you said, you got the words already. I don't have the words. And even when I do have the words, my body language or tone may throw off whatever words that I came up with to not hurt your feelings, because now you don't even believe me because it looks like bad behaviors that I picked up when I sounded a particular way. So I really wanted to know, like, the person that you are today, what do you think it would have looked like if we were the parents of you? And the reason why I'm asking this is because I'm trying to figure out how close am I to being the person that I was as a kid before I started protecting myself from my environment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, like if you're a fun kid and somebody's smacking your head a couple times, you're not going to be as fun because you want that pain to stop. So I think that I was engulfed in pain. My entire childhood was pain.
Dang.
Yeah, like when I think of me being happy,
right,
it wasn't me at home. Not one time. Like maybe on a Tuesday because my mom was off, and maybe I was going to get pizza or my favorite food or something like that. But it was rare. Like I can count. Like it's less than the number of years I lived with them. The number of times that I can say inside the house was a fun moment. And all of those were really little. It wasn't like after I became like 9 or 10, I don't have any happy moments in my home. And I know that the person the world got, the people that fell in love with the personality that I created, like it was just it was obnoxious, but it was to make everybody feel like it was okay. That was the personality that I was like. And then it just got to the point that I was really good at being mean. And not mean as in I was trying to, but being mean that I just wanted somebody to laugh, and then I could get everybody to laugh with being mean. And then it was like the development of the a-hole. And, and I was just thinking like how people made me feel like that was the right thing to do. John, you are so comfortable in your skin. And I am, because I got that good at it. And then like, I was just wondering how much closer since I've changed am I to the person that I've been protecting all these years? Because I was that person for a long time. So I was wondering from your perspective, do you think you've gotten closer to it, or you kind of just forgot who that person was and you're comfortable with the person you are today?
I'm comfortable with who I am today. I liked myself when I was little. If I could have removed that part, that'd have been great. But no, I liked myself as a kid, but I like myself now because I feel like the way I am now and how guarded I am with my words and stuff, it's necessary, I think, because so many people have dealt with so many different hurts coming up that impact how they hear something you said or interpret something you've done or whatever. And so me being more careful, it makes me feel like I'm being more careful with people's soul, like with their, I feel like my experience helped me to be more caring and welcoming and understanding of everybody else. So that's good. Like if I'd have kept up the way that I was, I would have just been walking around just saying whatever, and it was like to all be damned, like anybody's feelings, and I don't want to be that person. And I also think that it impacted Day in Dallas and how they don't want to be hurtful to other people either. Like they're extremely in tune with what's fair and what's not fair, or nice or not nice to say to somebody. So how I was molded helped me to create these caring beings we have. So, I mean, we would have been hell if you and I both were just running around saying whatever the hell came to mind.
I don't think we would have ever been together.
We wouldn't have.
Yeah, like,
I don't think we would have been able to take the other. Like, what?
No, I don't even know how you were able to take me, because I think of people that were in my life outside of you, and like it wasn't but a few that were mild mannered.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them were loud
Mm-hmm.
and was willing to go there. Like, I don't think you were willing to go there until after we were married so many years with me.
But I feel like when you create a life with somebody and you're supposed to be coming home to them, we can't be fighting and battling for space and spotlight and stuff. You got to have somewhere where you create a peaceful space where it doesn't have to be rah-rah all the time.
What do you think it is now then? Like, in comparison to like how we started out then, like, because we live a total different life.
It's a lot more relaxing for me. Like,
I know.
My brain doesn't have to work as hard to figure out
what type of mood the household is gonna be.
Predicting what the night is gonna look like and how I'm going to balance it. I don't have to do that anymore.
Question, side note, not really a side note, but when I was really into sports,
yeah.
Were you worried about my team losing? Did it ever cross your mind? Like,
no.
Okay.
No.
Because I know that those moments used to, like, it would dampen my day, weekend, week.
Yeah, but that type of stuff didn't matter to me. I didn't care about no sports.
No, I know you did, and I was wondering if it changed my mood where it could change the temperature of the home.
No, I had Day in Dallas. They were enough distraction from whatever you were on. And you were far more caught up in your friends and things outside of the home. It really didn't impact me.
No doubt.
Yeah, no.
So how close do you think, or like, so the person that you are today, are you 100% satisfied with the person you are today? Because you said you're comfortable with this person and you're cool with this person, like, and I know we were always trying to find a better version, but I'm just wondering, do you ever think about who you could have been if things were different? Because the reason why I say that, because I really believe that I'm on the journey of trying to figure out who that kid was that, like, I was. It kind of like bothers me that kid couldn't develop when I look at Day in Dallas. Not that I'm jealous of them, but I want to still be able to develop that kid in my head. Like, what can I do? And I feel like living in this home, it makes it a lot easier. Because I told you last night, when I leave work, I feel like I've done everything I could so I can turn it off. So when I come home, it's a different type of peace where I feel like, who is the kid? Because now, I mean, most people don't even believe I'm an introvert. Like, I don't care about going out. When I do go out, I don't have to move around. I don't have a problem with people coming up to me, but I'm not going to move around to make sure everybody see me. And before, I was like feeling like I was trying to control the room.
Yeah, he was on skates.
Yeah.
Like, constantly. But I think that who I am now, I think the only thing that I wish I could change, and it has nothing to do with how I changed as a child. I think that all the experiences I had in my youth definitely helped to make me this person. The accepting person, I think I could have been far more judgmental and rigid had I not experienced the things that I did. And there's no room for judgment and rigidity in this world.
Day in Dallas aren't like that. So something was different. So I was wondering, like, you said you would have been a total, like, what do you think you could have been like if your parents were more aligned with the way that we thought?
Oh. Well, I still think that if my mom were anything like us, she would have still addressed my mouth.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, you
Yeah.
would do that, but I'm saying it still didn't curve the kids to just, you know,
I don't know. I don't know how it would be different. I really don't.
because
I don't know if I necessarily needed the kid that I was then. I don't think I needed to be that person.
what do you mean, like that person?
Because you were like, you know, how you could have been that kid that you started out as. I don't necessarily think that I needed to be that kid. Who I formed into, I feel like I wouldn't have been able to parent Day in Dallas had I been that person. I wouldn't have been able to parent them to be these kind of kids.
You don't think they could have been better? The kid, you think they're at the peak performance because of, like, I'm saying, like,
I'm thinking that the characteristics I had at that age were not things that would have developed.
you don't think the outgoingness, like being able to like meet friends, like just
See, that part, I don't think that had anything to do with me. I think that had to do with the environments that I put them in. I wish I would have put them in, like, the weird thing is the idea that when we were in Atlanta that we needed them to not be in public school. I think that if they were in public school and it was more diverse and it was more open, I realize that now putting them in the type of schools that we did might have created this smaller group where they felt like, you know, when they went to their first school, it was like small. Their classes had like 4 to 11 kids in it.
mm-hmm.
That doesn't give you enough diversity and personality and types of kids and letting you really form your own group. Like Day was in an area where, you know, it was like, 6 girls. And they were all gravitating around one particular kid. And so she was going to do that.
Yeah.
But she and that kid were not a lot alike at all. Like, you know, so where was the diversity so she could have really found her way? It wasn't there. And, you know, when we put them in public school, it was like she immediately made a friend and they, you know, they're writing notes to each other. And it really made me feel like I put them in a really poor situation.
Pun intended. So remember I told you last night, when you're poor, you make friends.
Yeah.
Like, so that school is considered a low socioeconomic school. So they needed those outgoing kids to create.
Yeah. And then like they didn't play outside. You know what I'm saying? And when they did play outside, man, when they got a crash course in outside neighborhood kids, you know what I mean? And didn't even know how to interpret what was going on around them. And it was like,
you know, so saying that, like, it's crazy how the messaging we got and we agreed on how we were going to raise them by putting them in private.
We definitely controlled a lot more.
We did, because we didn't believe in the public school system. Like, we didn't know the benefits of it because of, I guess this is my perspective. Growing up, I didn't have a problem with public schools, but I felt like if you was rich and you wanted smart kids, you should put them in school outside of public school. And I didn't realize the value of public schools until that 1 or 2 months they went to Kimberly in Atlanta, and it changed my perspective. And I feel so bad because it's almost like we cheated them out of their youth to develop those skills that
they would have gotten anyway from us.
Yeah. But you don't know that. You don't like we
were young parents.
Absolutely. And we didn't have anybody to say, hey, you're going to regret it if you don't put them in there. Yeah. Like, I definitely believe that kids should go to public schools because there is a type of kid that you just can't find in private schools.
Yeah.
A bunch of them.
Yeah. A whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And you know, the only exposure that they got to that were their cousins. And it was...
Yeah, and that was still mild in comparison to like, because, you know, your cousins are going to treat you differently from, you know, people that don't know you.
Yeah. It was something else.
So they never even got that, you know, as they didn't get as much of it as they should have.
Yeah, and you know, when it's easy and it's like the crash course and stuff when you're younger and you're less caught up in how people might be looking at you and what are people thinking about you and stuff. We lost that whole period. And now we want them to create it now. And it's like,
and then the environment is still different.
Yeah.
But hopefully that's the only part that I wish that I could have given them from my childhood, because I said, I'm like,
yeah.
But I don't even know if I was that person before, like, because I think growing up the way that I did created that person. You know what I'm saying? But I was the kid that made introverts okay, because I was gonna come talk to you.
Yeah, an extrovert will always come and find one.
Yeah, no, and now I'm looking for all the extroverts.
Be like, somebody adopt me. Yeah, I'm with you. And when I think about Day in Dallas when they were younger, they were so outgoing and fun and free, and it's like, did we miss the window?
I think that they'll be able to I say that they're closer to who their inner person is than we are. Yeah. We did and I don't know how beneficial that is for later, but I believe that we have a relationship with them where they can feel like they can come talk to us and be like, hey, this is happening. Because the person that I was, the confident person, I still didn't discuss anything with my parents. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they have more room to correct any mistakes or errors than we did being the outgoing kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we get out of here?
I want to give a shout out to the parents who are doing it on their own, because there's one thing that I've had to really, really look at this week is you and I have each other to bounce these ideas off of and thoughts and reflect and stuff. And there are other people who are doing it on their own and they ain't even got time to reflect. They're just doing, and they're trying to think from two different perspectives. They're trying to protect kids. They're trying to guide them. They're trying to teach them. And only they know who their kids are and how to address it, and they are doing it all by themselves. And so much honor and so much respect to you all who are really taking on the battle, the war of trying to guide these kids into being like adults that you're not afraid to let them loose in the world.
So I guess that you ain't got a choice. You got to just give them as much as you can and hope that you covered enough bases.
Yeah, and it's exhausting sometimes, even thinking from our perspective. And I have somebody to bounce ideas off of, and there are other people who don't.
Just listening to you, like, I feel bad for people that got two people in the household and they don't even talk enough to be able to get to.
Too. I mean, because it's weird. But single parenting can happen in a house with two adults in that mug.
Oh, yeah.
But, when I'm thinking right now, some of the single parents it's not just the brain power, it's the financial power behind it that they're missing out on. And so that takes even more brain power, because all honor and respect to you all who are doing everything possible to make some amazing individuals walk out your door when it's time.
Definitely. Shout out to you guys. I would like to give a shout out to all of the educators who are back to work and all the new educators who were shell-shocked with the behaviors of students in your school. I do want you to know that kids are only reflections of their environment, and if you're not used to their behavior, you need to learn to adapt so that you can give them that information you're supposed to have. They're just as important as any other kid that had two outgoing parents, so they need your help also. I hope that you find the energy and the patience to master your craft. Majority of the teachers that have not experienced students with behavior problems, they don't even know how good they could really be if you have not been able to teach in that population. It's a different type of environment. And I'm not saying an environment where you feel unsafe, but where you feel inadequate because everything that you learned in a higher education institution did not prepare you for the behaviors that these students are displaying. And I want to say thank you. And I hope that you understand you mastering your craft will allow you to go anywhere if you can get this population of student to figure it out. Because when you send them home to their parents, it's a crapshoot. You just don't know. But you know you have the education, you know you have the background, the energy, and I just hope you find what the student needs for them to be able to change their family for generations to come. Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you cannot control. GATA. Get after that action or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose. Boom.